Okay, so the net is cut. The top cable is in. It's the rope, basically. Then the support rope from here to actually tied into what is actually the frame of an old trampoline that makes up the inner circle of my greenhouse. I'll show that later. But it's tied to the top of the greenhouse metal frame, not the actual plastic frame. And then tied into the tree all the way down there. So it's pinned against the concrete ledge that's about a foot tall and held into it so that the wind can't take it either way. But I'm still going to put up cross cables from the top to the building for both posts. Now I'm going to hang the net and then I'll show you what happens afterwards. Okay, so the net is cut. It's sitting right there on the ground. The rope is tied from one post to the other post. That post is tied to the tree. Then this post here is then tied to a metal frame that's the interior hoop inside the greenhouse at the top of the greenhouse. So it's not tied to the plastic structure. And then it's pinned, the concrete base is pinned against a foot tall concrete wall. So it's pulled back so that it can never roll forward, or if anything, it'll just fall into this building. It won't fall in the courtyard. So I'm going to hang the new net and then we're going to put together the plants for the planters. Okay, so I did it. It took a minute, but you check out the net. Goes all the way up to the top of the posts. It's fairly uniform. And that's important. That's why I have a center rope in it to give it strength. And like I said, it's tied into the trees and into the greenhouse. Now, here's the nifty thing. Okay, so these two sections of net plus the two sections of net that make up this roof. So I got one section here. The other section I haven't installed. It's right there, but it's cut to length. The remaining section is this section right here, which is perfect to do this back wall. As soon as I finish putting up the bamboo, then I will hang the net, and then all I'll be doing is transplanting plants to here and setting up this bed, and then filling these planters with the vining plant. Okay, so we're back. The planter is filled with soil. The bottom's filled with the lava rock. We left room on the top edge so that we can put a coat of lava rock on the top after we're done. So that allows for the soil to stay intact during heavy rains and allows me to water heavier. We got a blackberry that I found as a volunteer on the sidewalk right here, which is basically all roots. If you look, there's no soil to it at all. And that's why I set up the planter the way I did. So I can plant it around it. And then it already has like 3 or 4, yeah, about 3 foot to go on the net. So I'll plant that. And then these guys I cut from the plant down there. And even though they're just cut, I clean the cut up and I stick them in the soil and they'll actually go to root here in Hawaii, especially in the lava rock after we put the lava rock on the top. I'll show you the planting in a minute. Okay, so the planting is almost done. Okay, I didn't use 2 of the smaller plants. Okay, and here we go. But the reason I wanted to stop for a minute is I wanted to show you this guy. This is a red strawberry that literally, if you look at it, I pulled it off the sidewalk. It's doing really well. So I'm going to plant it right here and finish the planting out. Now, this bucket, and that bucket are all going to be cucumbers. But here's the thing, is I'm going to put a concrete block on the bottom of them. And then I'm going to put a 7-gallon grow bag inside of them. So there'll be a space around the container, which will reduce the amount of heat transferred to the bag. And it would also help with drainage in heavy rain. And then we'll set up 3 cucumbers next. And then after we get done with the cucumbers, this will actually be the last planter I do on the whole thing, because I have to figure out what exactly I want to do here. We'll start interplanting here between the cucumbers because I have a cherry tomato that is right there. And the reason I don't want to plant the tomato with the other tomatoes is that cherry tomatoes stunts the growth of other tomatoes substantially. So over here it should be safe. Okay, so I'm going to plant the strawberry, and then before I plant the cucumbers, I'll show you the block and the 7-pound grow bag. Talk to you later. Okay, so first planter is planted with the cucumber. This is the sickest of our cucumbers. But if you look, it's only about 4 foot from the top. And like I said, this is a full 9-foot net now. And so I left space on top for lava rock. And I'll be rocking that in. And you can see how I have space around it so it doesn't heat up as much in the sun. Okay, so the big problem is I got to mix soil for each one of these. It takes one of my soil mixes per bucket. Here, I'll show you the soil mix. So I'm using this tomato tone, organic gardening, like 2.5 cups of that. Feather meal, 2.5 cups of that. Dolomite lime, especially calcium magnesium carbonate. I'm using a cup of it. And then I'm using 2 giant like a double handful of. Okay, so this is the last cucumber. Take a 7-pound bag, you fill it half full with the media with the fertilizer mix, and then you add the plant. I'll add the plant and then show you the final. See, these are the other 2. And this is the last one. This organic media, and I use 10 double handfuls per. So I use 10 double handfuls per and mix it in. So 1 giant container right there to fill a 7-pound bag. So this will do 1 more bag. I'll do 1 more planting, and then I'll plant the other one. Okay, there's the plant. It's way long. It actually has cucumbers on it that I want to keep, so I'm going to be delicate. The other ones were in 3 gallons. This is a 1 gallon, so I'll end up using more soil to fill this one up. The final cucumber is now planted. Still, that one's the tallest. Got the lava rock on the top of all 3. Now I'm going to move on to planting the tomato and the blackberries in between. Happy Father's Day, and this is the end. I just didn't realize I had to end my movie. I didn't realize how long it really was. So, enough seeing me. Let's just review. This is the wall of food, and it's massive. I went through every single part of it. I'm going to replant the tomato today. I'm going to replant all 3 of the blackberry. And so it's just, I still can't believe I did this. And I can't believe I did this either. And this is what I'm talking about my ceiling flooding. I have to go through, retighten my plastic, and reorientate it because watch. Gutter does work. It's just, I have a water bed instead of a ceiling. Okay, but plants look good. I just have to fertilize today. I'll fertilize everything today for growth. Yeah. And this, okay, everything's doing well. I mean, this plant here is even coming back that tries to die every day, you know. And so this is the neatest view of the whole greenhouse because you can actually see all of the vines and the tops between the vines and the ceiling. And it's just so massive. I'm going to include, I hope, in my intro some flower pics, but I am running out of time. So this is the end, just a review of what we got going on. Reverse walkthrough, I guess. One of my favorite plants. This is a poinsettia that I grew from class, and it's just massive. And I just keep it around for fun. And so these are my babies. I have a whole bunch of peppers, and I'm torn whether I should do peppers or strawberries for my last gutter. These are my orchids, which are the vanilla orchids, and I have all the orchid mix made up. And to review, this is what they end up looking like. In my hanging basket, I have a little one. I have another one right there. I have a whole bunch more coming up. And this is my display one for it. That's my display vanilla orchid right there. And it's hard to get too close. And all the ones that are up here, all the yellow ones are gone. The new ones are coming up right here. Oh, see, we got even new ones breaking right now. Yep, this whole thing will be nothing but those all the way up. And I'll take some pictures of that. But no, I mean, my greenhouse is not glamorous, but it's almost clean. And, I'm not glamorous. I'm almost clean, yeah. This is, I forgot to mention this earlier. This is something I found on the sidewalk. Pulled it off this whole rock. And this is a white pineapple, just like the other ones. So, and these are beans that I got to transplant and put on the back wall. That's what I was talking about, some of my beans. So I actually have all the plants, and if you look, I mean, it's super clean in here now. And you can even see my giant sunflowers are coming up out. Right here. I'm so excited. That is week ahead of coming out, and I figured out how to actually make seeds work harder and faster, so I don't have to wait around so much. But, a little marigold. I'll plant that up today. So, no, greetings from inside the tomato. That's the thing about this whole tomato planting that I've done, is that it is literally like being inside of a tomato plant. Like, you're completely consumed, and I've had to tie it up. I mean, it breaks strings. It's unruly. It's not just a regular tomato, but nobody has to believe me. So, video is done. I put an ending on it. I'm late in my editing because I guess I had to sleep. But Dad, happy Father's Day. Couldn't have done it without you. And I hope you watch this. I really do. And I hope you enjoy it. And definitely farm inside the gutters. You don't have weeds. It's at waist height. You can set everything up and do exactly what you do regular gardening, but just a lot more effective. Love you. Love Mom. Almost love the sisters. Working on it. Talk to y'all later. Bye.